Welcome to Songwriters from Here and Away. This is a show that focuses on new and established songwriters from Atlantic Canada, across Canada, and around the world. This episode features Brent Mason. We hosted Brent for a small house concert, and he shared lots of stories and songs. There's a longer form of this on the podcast, so enjoy the show. Thanks for coming, Brent.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
You're in St. John, New Brunswick.
Yes, sir.
Right in town?
I'm in the north end.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's 8 minutes by car to O'Leary's.
And O'Leary's, I was just saying, is the place that you've had the open mic every Wednesday night for, 25 years?
Since the Battle of Hastings.
Yeah. Okay.
30 years. I moved back for the summer to St. John because I'd been out west and hadn't seen my mother in like 5 years and all that stuff. And
right.
Thought I'd come home for the summer. And thought I'd start I was coming home to spawn. I had no idea. We got 3 kids now. But I thought I'd start an open mic just, because such a thing didn't exist, even in the Maritimes that I was aware of.
Right.
They had jammed, but there wasn't the idea of an open mic wasn't really something that was happening. And so I thought I'd record a record and do an open mic, and then I'd bugger off back to the West Coast.
And back then you advertised it on papyrus and cuneiform.
Yeah, I used carried your pigeons as well. To send they'd all form into a message in the sky.
Well, that's where we met, and it's a great institution in St. John. So it's good on you.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's where I learned how to play music and be alive, in a world of music. It's been great.
So when did you start writing songs?
Before that, my first song I wrote after I went to my funeral in Hampton, New Brunswick. My uncle, by marriage, had died. And, I wrote a snappy little toe tap and bluegrass number because I went to the funeral. It was called Death is a Way of Life, and that was probably 1987 or 8 was probably the first song. But then I didn't really write any other songs for a while. Yeah. But, Death is a way of life, my friend. It ain't ever over, it don't ever end. Just when you think you got it made in the shade, the light in your eyes will flicker and fade. That's the chorus.
Yeah, great. That's excellent. I've heard that one actually.
Really?
It's on your tracks. It's out there somewhere.
Record I put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got a manager. My former music manager is here.
Oh, good.
She retired on the money that she made off me. Okay, this is a song off one of my records. It's called This Is Where Your Love Lives, I think. And one of the things about doing this that I really like is that we just get to shut the clock off for a couple hours, or at least an hour and 45 minutes. So thanks for coming. It means the world. It comes and it goes. Everybody knows it's a mystery. Little luck lifts you up from your gravity. From the streets of Rome to the satellite fields, nothing matters till you make that deal. It finds you in the alley blue where the sun don't shine. Casts a spell at the bottom of a well or a bottle of wine. Waits in the wings, it wants to fly. It's what you've got to do or die. And this is where your love lives. This is where your love lives. This is where your love lives. It's right here. It's right here. 'Cause life wants love, not make-believe pretend. There's criminals and crime, but there's just one sin. You got one way out and one way in. It's down to this. You pin a wish on a shooting star, or hesitate till it's too late and it's gone too far. Whenever that comet comes around, you gotta ride that tail right out of town. This is where your love lives. This is where your love lives. This is where your love lives. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. I'm going to play a tune called "All the Pretty Horses" now, which I wrote. It's the title track of I think my 9th record or something like that, and it's a stolen title, like Larry McMurtry. No, was it Larry McMurtry? No, who's the other guy? Cormac McCarthy, another Texas guy, wrote a book called "All the Pretty Horses," and great book. And I had this melody da 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 land in my head, you know, so I just wanted some words. So I think I was reading the book at the time, and the words landed, and kept it, and didn't get contacted by any lawyers or anything, so everything's cool. But this is kind of a memory sketch. I spent a bunch of time in the West Coast and down in California, and I think this song might have been born out of I was probably some despondent, heartbroken loser at the time, I'm pretty sure. And I remember I was hitchhiking around California, and a train went by in this little town, and I wasn't staying there, but I was in the town, and I had a backpack, and I thought, I've never jumped a train before, you know? So I tossed my bag onto the thing, you know, Woody Guthrie, right? And went like 20 miles in this boxcar, and I went, oh, shit, got to get back to the town. So anyway, this is called "All the Pretty Horses." All the pretty horses have been hitched. All the outbound tracks are switched. She just sits around now, waiting for a message or a sign. Something coming down the line. Somehow she forgot how to jump a moving train, ride a horse away. Well, it seems so long ago they were living on the road, those shining, singing railroad tracks. The starry, starry nights, the hope-filled mountain heights, what she'd give to get them back. Jump a moving train, ride a horse away. All around the tired town, everybody's waiting for a train. All around the lonesome sounds of silence, waiting for a train. You could go on down and look around. You could stand inside the rain. All around the tired town, everybody's waiting for a train. It leaves a little at a time, evaporated wine, It isn't drunk, it just disappears. She could have sworn that it was love. Now she swears just thinking of how he went and stole the years. Jumped a moving train, rode a horse away. The clothes are hanging out to dry. The sun is holding up the sky. She's looking through her photographs. All the pictures she has saved come alive today. She hears a whistle blow. She laughs. Jumps a moving train, rides a horse away. Jumps a moving train, rides a horse away. Thanks so much. Thank you.
That's a lovely tune,
Appreciate
Thanks. Yeah, and when you start writing a song like that one, for instance, you have a kernel of an idea from a title, or where do you usually start tunes from?
That was a melody.
Right.
That would da 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 da. That was definitely a melody that, and then that. I mean, that wasn't even supposed to be the lyric. Turned out to be the title and everything.
The other pieces fell onto the melody.
Yeah. I felt like So if it's something like "All the Pretty Horses Have Been Hitched," that becomes the first. You just it's horses and it becomes. I knew it was going to be like a story.
Yeah.
Rather than my usual pop smash hits that I write. But yeah. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I do songwriting workshops in schools, in high schools, and music history and stuff like that. And how do you write a song? I don't know. How do you tell a kid? That's wrong. There's you can have an idea, you can have a melody, you can have a lyrical land, you can have a rhythm. Just some sort of beat or something. They're all over the place.
You can start anywhere, and you kind of cross all those parts, or do you have one traditional way it just comes?
Lately, it's just whatever's most persistent, whatever thing keeps showing up. But I haven't been writing as many songs the last couple of years. I've been working on other kinds of writing.
You got a book coming out.
Oh, yeah, a bit of an author. Yeah, no, I've been doing. I started with short stories, and so I put a collection of short stories together, and then I thought I'd write a book.
Cool.
So I got a publisher for that, so that's kind of cool. But I'm just listening to this thing. Sounds nice, eh? It sounds as good as a guitar I have that's 3 times as much, but it reminds me of a story about our oldest son, Isaac, who, this is probably 5 years ago. Anyway, man, this kid. Who's got kids that cause them no end of trouble? Show of hands, yeah. Yeah. So I got a call at like midnight. I'm in bed. Can you come get me to drive me home, right? All gooned up, idiot. And yeah, where are you? I'm at the R Bar, which is like a karaoke bar uptown St. John, right on the corner of Union and Charlotte. And it's an interesting place, lots of characters. I pull up in the car, and I'm not going in there. It's Sunday night. The place is just jammed with the Goon Factory going on, right? And I hear off the stage, "Old Black Betty, Grandma Nan, old Black Betty, Grandma Nan." Maybe that's why I bought the guitar. I don't know. But true story. And then the whole place is going, "Black Betty had a child, now Grandma Nan," It's true. So my cousin Tammy is here from Truro. All we grew up in a little rural part of New Brunswick called Belle Isle Creek, and I'm going to play for you, excuse me, a Belle Isle Creek. I cleaned the cat before I came.
Oh.
It's a joke. It's like hilarious. we grew up in this place called Belle Isle Creek, and this song is, I wrote a whole, we have the most beautiful, the thing that differentiates New Brunswick from the other maritime and Atlantic provinces, other than the stunning good looks of our people, are the river systems that we have. No one can touch us in terms of the Restigouche and the Miramichi and the beautiful St. John or Willistook. There's nothing like that in Nova Scotia or in PEI, right? That's not a river. That's a brook. and Newfoundland. And so after a few years of playing music in New Brunswick, I met my wife, and she's had a sailboat, so we're on the river a lot, and I really got to appreciate the St. John River. Now I like Willistook better. I think it's more lyrical, and the St. John River, it's so lame. So I wrote a whole album using my research stuff that I got in university, and was great. Remember Mocha? Remember I got an ECMA nomination for that record? And then, whoever it was, some Cape Breton arsehole beat me out of the prize. Can't even remember which one it was. One of them. They're all related anyway. Mix something.
Mix something, yeah.
That's what you're supposed to say. Yes. I don't care if I win. Weeping with a bottle of whiskey in the back, behind the risers, behind the stage. But this is a song off that record anyway. Our grandfather's name was Headley Vale, and he did a lot of different things like everybody did back in the day to make a living. And he used to have a lumber camp in the 40s, and Pop used to, you can't like all your grandkids that much, and I don't think he liked me that much. No, true, he loved me, but he didn't like me, kind of a thing. Because I was a bit of a mouth, and he didn't like that. Or smart ass, But Pop would tell these great stories about the old days in the kitchen with the wood stove going in July, and your face like a glazed donut. You're just trying to get the hell out of there, right? But he's rolling those 3-foot-long cigarettes that you cut with a razor blade, and all this is going on. And he's telling you the stories. And this is a composite sketch of Pop's life in the woods, where you go in the fall and you cut all the wood and you take it to the river, and you float it in the spring, right? So this is called Deep Woods Off. And the lyrics of this song are in the grade 4 social studies book in New Brunswick. It's true. That's one of my bigger accomplishments in life. Is they gave me $300 for that. So, Deep Woods Off. Well, Cookie's hauling out them taps, drilling maple for some sap. The spring has finally arrived. The black cold winter nights are gone, a dough is heavy with a fawn. We're all getting ready for the drive. Well, Cook's been feeding 20 men since we got here way back when. A picture reminds me of my wife. Beans and bacon and cake and stew and smoke and making do. It feels like I've been here all my life. We'll drive those logs like cattle down the river, stack them like matches to the sky. $1 a day, it ain't a lot of money, boys. After 6 long months, it's enough to say goodbye. Oh, bucksaw teeth, they bite the camp. The clothes I wear are always damp, smelling like the smoke there from the fire. Beer grease and tobacco spit fill the cans by the open pit. There's rabbits hanging from the snare and wire. We got cases of carnation milk. A clean shirt would feel like silk, so dark inside I can barely see. Poker and a liquor still, and nighttime is the time we kill, singing songs of Peter Emberley. That's on the Miramichi, that's another river. We'll drive those logs like cattle down the river, stack them like matches to the sky. $1 a day, it ain't a lot of money, boys. After 6 long months, it's enough to say goodbye. Did you ever see a spring pole snap? It grabs you like a steel trap, puts an ugly end to all your luck. One hit Headley laid him low, he never saw it coming, so he sent his wife an extra $20. All the teams of tired horses wait their steam and breath. We won't be late, we're gonna run them through and pray that they don't jam. If they do, I'll bust them free, 'cause leaving means that much to me. That's the way it is, and that's the way I am. We'll drive those logs like cattle down the river, stack them like matches to the sky. $1 a day ain't a lot of money, boys. No, no, no. After 6 long months, it's enough to say goodbye, to say goodbye, to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Please look us up online. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we'd love to hear from you. Songwriters from Here and Away at gmail.com. Brent Mason is in the house, from Here and Away. Website, www.brentmason.ca.
You got a handful of tunes to put on another album. Good.
Yeah.
Right on.
We didn't script this, but funny you should say that. Maybe I'll play one of my new ones now.
Oh,
What?
that's a good idea.
Thank you, Robert.
So tell us about your album that you're going to be working on.
I don't have anything much to say about it in terms of, I've got some songs. I've got some new songs, but I don't even know. Often, for my experience has been that I don't realize what I've been writing about till I'm done writing about it, and then you see what the patterns were, what the theme was after for me, My last record might be a slight. No, even that was. It was called Fireflies, but even that was. I'll play something off that later. Yeah, so this song is fairly recent. It's not recorded, and it's sort of post-COVID, but I just can't handle the news, and it's just overwhelming. I find I had to really take a break from all of it. In terms of. Like there was a while would argue with people on Facebook about 4 years ago. Like who does that? But there's been so much stuff that's going on that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. And here, we've got all these crazy people doing crazy things, and need a break, And I did lose somebody that I thought the world of during the pandemic, and it all morphed into this tune anyway. It's called "I've Had Enough of Tomorrow for Today." Good title, Brent.
Yeah.
Slow it the hell down, too. That was a workout, that last song. I was awake all night. I could not find the back of my eyes. There was a wicked wind as cold as sin right outside. You can feel it in the air. Something's gone astray. I've had enough of tomorrow for today. I got a friend who's gone, we couldn't say so long, she just waved goodbye. We had to miss that final kiss, the one when you cry. Ah, the goes away. I've had enough of tomorrow for today. Starry, starry satellite, I wish I may, I wish I might hold you in my heart again and talk about what might have been. I've been around the world, I dove for pearls, there's pictures to prove. But now the walls won't talk and the kitchen clock, it barely moves. Everything we have is never here to stay. I've had enough of tomorrow for today. I've had enough of tomorrow. There's no more time to borrow. I've had enough of tomorrow for today. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. But no, I have a chicken coop that we live in the north end of St. John. I'm going to finish the part that anyone can have a chicken coop. But and we've got a nice little bit of land there, and my wife thought that getting chickens would be a really good. Let's get chickens. And you know how you're a married guy, right? So you know how you have thoughts in your head that you don't share with your partner? You know, you just stay in there because everything would be better if you don't articulate that. So what was going on in my head was like, that's a stupid friggin' idea. I grew up in the country. Chickens are stupid. They're filthy. Why? You know, go down to Shoppers on Tuesday. They're on sale. Eggs for like $3.99 or something. But we got chickens. Obviously, because Sandra wanted chickens. And so a friend of ours built a lovely chicken coop, and it was great. And then, you know, raccoons showed up. Raccoons are psychopaths, by the way, if you didn't know. They don't care, right? I went out to feed the stupid, filthy, idiot chickens one morning, and they were all, right, like barely alive. Most of them were dead, but there's a couple, you know, you have to finish them off. Oh, it's like, well, you do, you know, so you're, see ya. But, so the place sat empty, the coop sat empty, a lovely coop, sat empty for like 2 years. And then one of our kids got really messed up, banged up, and we couldn't really leave the house. We had a tag team. And it's all about me. I was like, I can't write. There's nowhere to write. And I was walking by the chicken coop, and I went, oh. So I cleaned it all out and painted it, and now it's where my studio is. So the point of this is that I have some bottles of whiskey in the chicken coop, right? And one of them is called Writer's Tears, which is, you know, playing on the old trope of, oh, the tortured, starving, you know, mental health writer-ish situation. And I thought I can write a song about that, you know. So this song is just resulting from looking at the bottle of whiskey called Writer's Tears in the chicken coop and imagining a sad writer. So it's like the Far Side cartoons way back, you know, when the guy's coming in the old saloon. Bad guy, Ned, minor key. Yeah. This is called Bottom of the Well, for whatever that's worth. The poet keeps on rhyming like there's something new to say. Anything at all to make it through the day. The broken bells are chiming, but the blues won't go away. There's nothing like the bottom of a well. Words that get so wasted, they stagger down the hall, looking for an open door and bouncing off the walls. Words will tell you anything, and you believe them all. But there's nothing like the bottom of a well. You could almost see the sunshine, almost wish upon a star, but it's too late, too far gone. Now everything's in amber, the way it always was. Hearts and hands together, wrapped around the rust. Ask him why he's down there and he'll tell you just because. There's nothing like the bottom of a well. Oh, there's nothing like the bottom of a well. Thank you. Saturday night, Eric Rice, rocking with that number. Thanks a lot. Do you have another question?
I do, actually.
I feel like I'm interviewing you.
Well, that's good.
When was the last question you asked, and why?
I can't remember, but I was listening to the way you formed your lyrics. So when you sit down and you're writing a tune, you have an inspiration, and the words, music tumble out of you. Does it take you, like, to get to that 80% done kind of level? Does it take you a long time usually, or where do you go? And then the answer, the second part of the question is, so you got that song there. Do you go back and fine tune and edit a lot?
I never used to, and I do it more and more now. So the answer to that is that I used to be a lot more about the idea the song's gotta, it's gotta happen, as a whole, complete thing with integrity and whatever of the moment and all that stuff.
Right.
But now not so much. Like that's they don't tumble. I guess the answer is they don't tumble out of me so much anymore as
Right.
They're
crafted
it's
more.
It's like trying to pull a hook out of a fish's gill or something. Come on, get it. Yeah, crafting. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a crafted song.
Right.
Absolutely, that
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
For that little bridge thing there was definitely, where do I go? I was thinking about it.
Cool.
So I lead little tours to Ireland every fall and have been doing it. Co-lead little tours, little like 16-person tours, and it's great. I love it. Get to go over there, and I love the country and the people and most things about it. And if you go to Ireland, you can surprise me the first time where you go into a pub and there's a session going on. And so the first time we led a tour, we ended up in Galway in a little bar called The Crane, which is a lovely bar. And there was a session going around, and we got there early, and you're yapping and drinking, blah blah blah, with the people, and someone, oh, you're a musician, here, sing a song, and they give me a guitar in the session. I was going, great, like here's a song I wrote about a chicken coop. It's not going to happen. I'm not doing that. Right, stupid. So I instead thought, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll sing a maritime song. And I sang Sonny's Dream by the great Ron Hines. We all know that song?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like, and it was packed. It was like around 6 o'clock on a Saturday. Kids running, places jammed, and the whole bar starts singing along to it. I didn't realize that it was a big hit in Ireland, that song, right? And so that's the first part of the story that I forgot the second part, but I just remembered it, of the song I'm going to play next. So I wrote a song for Ron Hines, and I'm going to sing that one for you. And I was playing Stanfest probably 10 years ago now, and on the Sunday night off the big stage, they have everybody gathered, and there's a big moon, and they have the big stars getting out on the big stage on Sunday night, and Ron Hines came out, and he was really struggling to perform and to sing, and people thought he had a lot of well-documented struggles, and people thought that's what was going on, but he's the only guy that brings a tear. Like 3 times, I've watched Ron Hines, and like, geez, you can't help but it's very emotional stuff, some of his stuff, and so he was singing this song called Ship of Dreams, and the moon's coming down, and it's just poignant, and I'm like tearing up, and the kids, what are you crying, Dad? And, shut up, get out of here. I'm not crying, it's an allergy. And I was moved by it, and I went home and wrote this song. Speaking of writing a song quickly, this one I wrote in less than an hour.
Uh-huh.
It was like, back when there was hope, I used to do that. And I recorded it on my phone, and I sent it to a guy named Paul Mills up in Ontario, who used to produce Stan Rogers' records and Ron's records. And I said, Paul, like, what's the deal with this? Is this a stupid thing to do? And then I went to China for like a month and to do stuff over there, and then came back, and I had an email from Ron Hines, because he'd been at Paul Mills' house because he was up getting treatment for his throat cancer, which is why he couldn't sing that night at Canso. And this gushy, I'll say it, gushy freaking email from Ron Hines. Bet you don't have that one of those.
No,
yeah. So
I got a call from him though.
Easy to pick up a phone.
I tell you, a long email. That's pretty special.
So and then I got to play a couple of shows with him, and it got super awkward because he said how much he liked this song. I'm not trying to pump it, like, because it's a big deal to me. It's just like whatever I do, Ron Hines, And but then I'm on the stage with him. They're like opening for him at two or three different shows. The first one, like, oh my God, Christ! I'm singing this song, and he's over there with the hat on, like this. And I walked by him after, and I was like, and he said, "Good song." That's all he said. But I'm going to sing it for you because I'm in Halifax, and whatever. He did a lot of stuff here. It's called Hindsight. Isn't that clever? So I saw you on a stage, larger than a life, on the edge of the wild Atlantic blue. A high and hungry moon was pulling on the ocean. I guess it was pulling on you. The songs spilling out of your guitar, they kept climbing to the Canso stars. They always seem to end too soon. Your beautiful world-weary tunes. Something wasn't right, everyone could feel the night coming down with a cold. You could cut it with a knife, the quiet of the crowd, leaning in, drinking up your words. They were waiting for the one about the dream. Sing it, Ron. Sing it, someone screamed. There's a true north, call of a loon in your beautiful world-weary tunes. You go down, down, down when you're digging for gold. It's dark, it's deep, it's cruel and it's cold. If you're hung lucky, you come up with something to hold in your hands. Your hard-living hands. The echo of applause ran down to the water and floated away on the waves. Like Sunny in your song, it's there and then it's gone. Everything's gonna go away. Listen to us sing. That's the sound of church bells when they ring. I'm shorebound, trying to read the runes in your beautiful world-weary tune. Thank you very much. Thanks.
You're listening to Songwriters from Here and Away. We'd like to tell you there's more of this show online at our podcast. Look up Songwriters from Here and Away on all your podcast platforms or search Songwriters from Here and Away just about anywhere. There are a number of extra songs and chat and some great stories from Brent Mason. Here we are, back to the show.
You know what? I wanted to talk about your writing. What's the title of your book?
The book is, right now, it's called One in Winds. So it takes place on a carnival midway. And
okay.
Yeah, so
good.
That's been a real process for the last, I started writing it December 2022.
Right.
And I finished it and sent it, whatever, it's probably not finished, but I sent it to the publisher 2 weeks ago. So yeah, what a weird thing to do.
Great.
Don't recommend it.
It's a real extension from songwriting. I mean
it's so different.
So different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crop rotation. Like way fewer rules, which I like. Like songs have to allegedly have melody and
rhyme and all the different features.
Choruses and there's exceptions to all of that in songwriting, but generally speaking, they need to have a certain kind of structure.
Well, the thing about prose is it too has to have a meter and a flow to it. I mean, in a sense, it doesn't have to.
There are cons to prose.
Yeah. Thank you. We don't have a. But what I was going to say about your songwriting is I really enjoy the way you have the syntax for the thing, and the way the metering, and the way you have the end of the lines fit, and your internal rhymes, your internal schemes.
That's something that definitely I'm really aware of.
Yeah.
And I don't even try and necessarily structure it that way, but the way my brain works and the way I write, and the way I write prose is very much, there's an act of faith involved with it, that this is going to, this line or this phrase is going to have a certain degree of fluidity to it.
Right.
You know, like I don't like consonants smashing up against each other in a lyric, you know, because it makes it harder to articulate the lyric, you know.
Right.
So I'm just aware of that. Maybe that's just how I speak. I have no idea. But when it's not right in a song, I can sure tell.
Right.
You know, I criticize other people's stuff all the time because they do that. It's like, what are you doing, smashing that R, you know, R up against an M or whatever.
Yeah.
Should know better. R's don't smash so
No,
much.
okay.
It's the p's and the k's and the does.
Yeah.
Where
Good.
were we?
A song.
A song. I'll play another new one, new to me, new to you, not new to me, but this is a St. John song. I wrote this song about 2 years ago, and the reason I wrote it is because I found out that a guy that I knew from the streets, like King Street, specific King and Germain Street in St. John, there was a guy named Billy Sterling who would hang out there. He was a, you know, not that big guy, big blue eyes guy, and he was fast, man, and he knew I was always good for a couple bucks. So he'd you know, if you saw me on the street, he'd run over. And I liked Billy. He's a friendly guy, but, you know, really addicted to things, but a sweetheart. And he died maybe 4 years ago. And about 2 years ago, I found out that Billy, when he was young, he grew up in the North End, had been a great athlete and a track athlete and a really good baseball player, and played provincial, played in like Canadian for the New Brunswick team and stuff. And but also found out that when he was a kid, his old man had just been horrifically abusive to him to any degree that you can want to imagine. And that's how you end up on the streets of King St. John bumming money, right? It's not like, pisses me off, man. People, you know, pick yourself up. You know, like it's a choice. You know, when I grow up, I want to be on the street. You know, like anyway, this is for Billy, and he was a great little guy, and I liked him. Blue-eyed Billy was one of those kids. He never quite fit whatever he did. He ran the bases like he was running away. His daddy was mean. That's what they say. That's what they say. He started missing the point, bouncing around. Billy was a ghost in his own hometown. He stopped meeting your eyes in the bright of the day. Billy got lost. That's what they say. That's what they say. Can you hear the clowns? Can you hear the choir? All the alley angels on a strung out wire. Neon stars are shining down. Pass the bottle around. There's halos waiting to be claimed. Hell, they already know your name. It's high time you had a home. Billy had a heart like a satellite dish, picking up the channels that he couldn't switch. He tried every trick on Avenue 8, but the tricks don't treat. That's what they say. That's what they say. part's known as the guitar solo part. It's pretty amazing, eh? Usually people clap and stuff when I finish a guitar solo. Ah, Billy had the blues, but the blues turned black. In a limousine or a hearse, you're right in the back. Whoever is out there picking off strays, it's just bad luck. That's what they say. That's what they say. Can you hear the clowns? Can you hear the choir? All the alley angels on a strung out wire. Neon stars are shining down. Pass the bottle around, there's halos waiting to be claimed. Hell, they already know your name. It's high time, time you had a home. It's high time, time you had a home. Thanks, that's for Billy. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Very kind people you are to clap for such things. And one of the things that I discovered over the course of the record was reading a book called Lincoln in the Bardo. And I also found out, I did a history degree, but I did American history and sort of a combination of American and German history. And I knew that Thomas Jefferson had slaves. I didn't know he had 6 kids with one of his slaves. Her name was Sally Hemings. I didn't know that. So you're looking for hit song material. So that's what I did. I took Lincoln in the Bardo and goose-stepping neo-Nazis in Charlottesville and Thomas Jefferson's plantation. Mix her all up there and see what you get, eh? This is called Monticello, which is the name of the plantation. You could find the underground line that leads to Monticello. Maybe see her ghosting past the stones, wandering the Bardo with shackles shining cold and stories never told. Parisian boulevards and tobacco dirt, with barely 16 years. Her pale beauty, it owned them all. So far and yet so near, but she don't get to choose. The master makes the rules. On Independence Day, they're pulling down the statue. On Independence Day, all the way to Monticello. All the way to Monticello. carriage wheels, they keep rolling past to the mansion on the hill. Who am I to wonder why God gave such a bitter pill? So who could know the color of the past? And who could make that claim? Barren babies and barren witness, a footnote all the same. Till finally she got free. In the moonlight you might see on Independence Day, they're pulling down the statue on Independence Day, all the way to Monticello, all the way to Monticello, all the way to Monticello. Thank you.
Now, here's the podcast extra.
How do I look?
You look like Brent.
Shit. Damn. I usually get Brad Pitt, but we'll go with that. I'll play another one off that record. I got a good friend and a songwriting pal whose name is Jessica Ray. She lives in Hampton, New Brunswick, and she just actually was touring down here. Mm-hmm. She's got a new record out, and she was at the Carlton maybe 2 weeks ago or something, and she was in Shelburne, and she's got a nice band happening now. All these friends of ours, they sound great. She put out a really lovely record about 3 years ago called Just Like a Woman, all covers of Bob Dylan songs, if you want to get your hands on that. This new record of hers is called Sunshine Baby, but I host a Bob Dylan, kind of put together a Bob Dylan birthday show every year in St. John, and it's like 14 years now. Everything I do seems to last long. Well, not everything, but what? But but I don't like the whole co-writing thing is not really my jam. Like it's,
Right.
I don't know. If you're gonna write a song, just write the goddamn song. I feel like, like I don't need to bring in. But her and I have written probably a dozen songs together. She's got a nice sense of melody, and her lightness and joy. It balances out with my lack of lightness and joy. But she had this idea. She said, "I want to write a song." Speaking of the Dylan thing, she did a little video of "Blowing in the Wind," and the thing just blew up. Did you know that? It's got like 13 million views on the YouTube. It just went apeshit.
Cool.
Apeshit. Jessica Ray, Rhaye, and anyway, so she for a while there, she'd call me and say, "I got an idea, or come on out, we go out on Sunday morning and throw some Benadryl and vodka into her kids and sit down and get some shit done." And she had an idea for this song because she did a cover of Four Strong Winds, a really beautiful cover of that. And she said she wanted to write a song from the perspective of the one who stayed behind. And I liked that idea. So she had a couple things, and I threw some stuff at it, and we wrote this song called "Cold Love," which is on my. She's got a version of this on her new record, boy, are they different songs. You know, she's, you know, the stuff's happening and mirrors are cracking and stuff, and mine just voices are cracking. Anyway, so it's a co-write. I'm going to sing it. It's called Cold Love, and it's from what I just said, that perspective. I haven't played this in ages. You told me when the winter ends, you'd be back. I wouldn't spend another night alone in this cold town. The lights are bright, all red and green. The snow keeps falling in my dreams. The silent night is waiting for a sound. And every time you say goodbye, another piece of my heart dies. And every night I close my eyes, I see your face, I wonder why. Cold love, cold love, cold love is haunting me. There's a woman at the door who doesn't want to spend $20, but she's taken in the show. It doesn't seem right. I follow footprints in the snow. They lead me far from what I know. Get covered by 4 strong and lonely winds. I walk beneath the winter sky, aurora borealis. I know that you're not coming back again. $12, the bells are ringing on the street. People singing hallelujah, Christmas come and gone. Storm is raging all around, and only dogs can hear the sound. I'm singing out to the midnight sun. And every day you slip away, little pieces of us fade. And every conversation's fake. Some hearts give, some hearts take. Cold love, cold love, cold love is haunting me. Thank you. Holy shit. Is that 9:15? Second period. I could do a hockey song.
Do you have a hockey song? The football song. Yeah. Oh, the Gretzky song. Yeah.
I won the Stomp and Tom Award. I'll have you know, Barry. What's that? Yeah, what is that, right?
The Hall of Fame
free
award.
warm moose head for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I'll play. Jesus Christ, I haven't done this one. I haven't done it in ages. Well, ask me a question.
Well, where can we find your music?
Oh, it's right on the other.
Just
the
on
curtain.
the table.
It's behind
No, but
the curtain.
it's BrentMasonMusic.ca. Or no, it's BrentMason.ca.
If you go to BrentMason.com,
you get Brent
There's a
Mason, the
problem.
guitar guy.
yeah, so like the best known guitar player in Nashville has my name.
I've talked to him, you know.
And he's
I was talking
spoken
to him.
Yeah.
I was going to get him up to do some workshops, and he's ready to come up. But
We could
I
do
didn't
like a
want to
double-double.
Hey, maybe that'd be an idea.
I've got a few stories about Brent Mason, I'll tell you.
Do you?
For example, about whenever MySpace was a thing, you would know. What year would that be? 2007 or something? I got a check in the mail in U.S. dollars for like a substantial amount of money. And I was like, friggin' right, man, you know. I've arrived, because I didn't know how things worked, right? So this true story. This check shows up, and I didn't mention it to Sandra or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, God, I mean, what's $5,000 really, right? We don't need that. It's loaded. I've got a Subaru. But so the money arrives, and I'm like, great, and probably 2 weeks after that, I'm home alone, family's up on the Kingston Peninsula. It's like 1 a.m. or so, or whatever. I was asleep. The phone rings, and Brent Mason there. And it was like, felt like the old Bugs Bunny with a foghorn leghorn, and the little, like it's cold. And the Witta hen has the warm house, so he's trying to make friends with the little egghead kid, remember? They're playing hide and seek, and the kid works it all out, right? And he goes over, and he goes, "No, boy, no, I'm not in there." You know? And he's about to start digging, and he goes, "Better not look, it just might be in there." Anyway, quantum mechanics. But that's how I felt. Brent Mason there, I was like, well, So I said, well, this is Brent Mason. Well, this is Brent Mason, you son of a bitch. He lays right into me, right? And I go, what? You know, my money, I stole his money, and I did all this stuff, right? And I don't think, I wouldn't even, what's MySpace, Brent? I didn't, you know? And so anyway, it calms down, and a couple of weeks later, you got a lawyer, and our royalties were getting crossed at the digital state, where all of his sales for all of his online lessons and videos and shit were ending up in my account. But so I made it better, and I was like, I reluctantly withdrew the money out of my account and wrote a check and sent it back to America. So that happened, and then once I'm in line at a songwriters thing in Nashville, big lineup to go into this high-end songwriters thing at 3rd and Lindsay or something. And I'm talking to these, you know, remember they were like two beautiful young people, like blonde, gorgeous young couple. And she goes, "You're Brent Mason." Like, we all have lanyards on as part of the thing, you know? And so we're talking, and she looks down, "You're Brent Mason?" I go, yeah, yeah, how you doing? And what are you doing here? "Oh, just going into the songwriters thing." And then she goes up and gets the door guy, and he comes down. "Oh, Brent Mason, you shouldn't be in here. Come on." And by then I'm going, "Oh, fuck." And so, yeah. So they take, real nice table off to the left of the stage. I'm thinking, I need a sling for my arm really quickly in case somebody asks me to play. So that happened.
That's great.
And then probably 5 or 7 years ago, I got an email from a guy in Gothenburg, Sweden. And he said, turning 60. I can't do it, I guess I could do the Swedish cook accent, but I'm not going to bother. Would you come play for my birthday party, in Gothenburg? And I was, sure, and how much would you want? And I said, for the band and everything. I don't know, like flights and, accommodations, food, 10 grand, I was whatever. He goes, yeah, sure, no problem. And I showed it to Sandra, and she's going, you're not who he thinks he is. Can you imagine getting off the plane in Sweden? Here's a little song about the Evandale Ferry.
It's okay, I brought you maple syrup.
So those are a few Brent Mason stories. I forgot where I was. I was going to sing a song, right? What was I going to sing? Something. What's that? Old. Something old. Oh, my God. Okay. You want that, eh? Yeah. I'll play a couple more songs. This night can't go too late because
we're all old?
Because I think the tenants will probably start to, this is pretty raucous.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
Something off the first record. I will accommodate this wonderful request. I never play anything off the first record. And this is a dark friggin' song. When I moved back to New Brunswick, it was for the summer, and I started a juice stand in the city market and made a record. And I had cassettes, and so I sold juice and cassettes and had the open mic. There was a whole scene going on, you know. I met half the city and ended up with a manager. Can you imagine managing me? Really, when you think about it? It's insane. Unmanageable. Unmanageable. But this is a song, the record was called Head for the High Ground. And I still think it stands up, that record, actually. I still think it does. Some of my stuff I can't bear. I don't have anything out there for sale that I wouldn't listen to myself. Not that I listen to it much, but some of the records I sort of like, what? Anyway, it's called Head for the High Ground.
Well, we came here from wherever we'd been. A year and a half, let him without sin throw the first stone. I think that we thought we could leave it behind. Dust in the rear view, let it all unwind like a Ferris wheel. Head for the high ground. Head for the holy high ground. Head for the high ground. Nothing can touch you on the high ground. Everybody blamed her for bringing it on. They said, well, what were you doing down in that part of town? It's your own fault. To her mother and her lover, she laughed and said, look, they might have had my body, but that's all they took. They didn't touch me. Head for the high ground. Head for the holy high ground. Head for the high ground. Nothing can touch you on the high ground. A frown on her brow, a secret she hid. When I asked her what was wrong, she said, everything they did to me still happens. Then her voice, it would vanish and she couldn't put it right. She'd stare from the bed into the quiet of the night, chewing her fingernails. Head for the high ground. Head for the holy high ground. Head for the high ground. Nothing can touch you on the high ground. Just before I left her, I pleaded my case. I said, I see those men who rape you, using my face, so call me guilty. She said, don't look too close at those faces you fear. I only feel the pain when I look in the mirror. I'm gonna miss you. for the high ground. Head for the holy high ground. Head for the high ground.
Yeah.
Thank you. The mic's starting to go down, right? It's like going out and you're following the mic down. And it's by the time you're done, you're compromised. I'll play a couple of more songs, okay?
Cool.
I'm really. Thank you so much
Hey,
for putting this together.
thank
Really,
you for
honestly,
coming down.
Robert, big deal there.
Cool.
It's an act of love when you do stuff like this, is what it is.
Music is important.
Whatever. I'll play a song off of one of my records. Okay. We were in St. Andrews. There's a wonderful festival called Paddle Fest in St. Andrews every May, and we go every year. And Sandra and I were walking down on the beach, and the tide was coming in, so we got up off the beach the way you do in the Bay of Fundy. And there was a massive tree that someone had cut down and was sitting on the side of the road by Water Street. And we counted how old the tree was. You know, you know the trick, right? And right after I saw that, we did that. We saw this kid at Salty Towers, which is a wonderful place to stay if you're in St. Andrews. You can go to Salty Towers, not Faulty Towers. And it's a beautiful, rambling, old Victorian rooming house. It's lovely. It's a real scene there, used to be, for music. And there was a young guy on the infamous porch of Salty Towers. It's a beautiful place. So many jams have happened there over the years. And I know him. I know him. And I really think the world of this kid, and he was really looking rough. And I knew that it's a small town. I knew he was having a real bad time, and I was worried about him. So I wrote this for him. He's a kid. He's got almost white blonde hair. It's called Count the Rings.
Out on an island, a young man is trying to take down the last lonely tree. It's weathered the wind, and it will again, but it's hard for him to see. Oh, the bark's got cracks. There's something it lacks, some nutrient needed to live. The branches are broke, but beauty's a joke. It's what's beneath that gives. When the world is as blue as the water around you, as the indigo songs that you sing, remember your roots and the soles of your boots. Now is not the time to count the rings. Now is not the time to count the rings. To look at it now, you wonder how any living gets done. It's hard to believe it ever had leaves to welcome the wandering sun. It stands there alone, dry as a bone, white like a washed up shell. But those roots run deep. They're not asleep, they're reaching for a well. When the world is as blue as the water around you, as the indigo songs that you sing, Remember your roots, the soles of your boots. Now is not the time to count the rings. Now is not the time to count the rings. Now is not the time to count the rings. Thank you. Thanks so much.
I mean it. I do mean it. I'm grateful. I'm going to play one more song, and we're not going to go through that whole encore bullshit and stuff like that. It's way overdone.
It's
now.
overdone. Okay, good.
Not everybody should get an encore all the time. Like, you go to these theater shows, and it's like, that sucked. Okay,
Yeah.
I hate it.
You know, I sometimes sit down when that happens. I just sit there and...
Contrary, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
But-
okay if it's a CNI big gig, but otherwise
Yeah.
people are going to know.
Thanks again for coming out. And folks, if you go to Brent's social media stuff, share it up with all your friends. And
Not all of it.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
That's probably the best place to.
Yeah.
If you're not going to buy the CDs, you can buy. That's
Don't
the best
give
place
them the option
to
not
buy.
the CD.
Well, but if they buy it at Bandcamp, at least you make some money rather than Spotify, right? You know.
Okay, but I told you a story about Spotify.
This
We
is
had
true.
Food, so here's a Spotify story before I play my last song. I was in Dublin, say a month ago, pretty much a month to the day. And you all know who Matt Anderson is probably, right? So Matt's playing a little gig at a little club in Dublin, and Steve Everett's his tour manager. So Steve and I had a beer the night before, more than one. And, he said, come to the show tomorrow night. I'll put you on the list. That's always good. So three of us went to the show the next night. And I'm standing, like there's 75 people, and it's about a third full. It's just a stand-up club, the Grand Social, it's called. And Matt's, Adam Baldwin played, and then Matt's doing his thing. And like Matt's such a star, right? And I'm standing against the wall. I'm talking to a couple of people, and I said, "Yes. So how'd you hear about this?" And they said, a friend of a guy that we follow, whose music we like on Spotify, likes Matt and said something about Matt just on Spotify. So we thought we'd come into town and check it out. And I was like, that's what Spotify is for, spreading the word, not spreading the money. It's about getting the word out. It was like a revelation to me. So two people came into town to Dublin just because they got someone they know on Spotify, their music. Sort of had liked Matt Anderson or said something about Matt. So that's got nothing to do with this song. This song is a song that from the aforementioned O'Leary's Bar in St. John, New Brunswick. If you're ever there on a Wednesday night, as long as I'm still standing, I got a feeling I'm going to be there. Sad or amazing, one or the other. But about 8 years ago, this song's on the record, that All the Pretty Horses record. Oh, here we go again. You got any Mike Viagra? Stay up. There was a woman coming to the open mic every week for probably 6 months, and it was the whole package, the whole deal, and really wonderful. And a super, super devout Christian. And but back then, we were going till 2 a.m. She'd be out in the back deck with everyone's out drinking and doing drugs and shit, and she's hanging around. It's lovely. The worlds came together, And but she was coming every week, and there was a guy coming every week. I knew him, but I noticed all of a sudden he's sitting like where you are when she's playing, looking at her the way you're looking at me. Same, yeah, right. Much similar, but different. And I heard her say to him one night, just as I was walking by. Peter, if I didn't have Jesus and you didn't have whiskey, maybe we could get together. So that's what this song's called. When Jesus Met Whiskey. It's become kind of a song for me. Turned into a friggin' t-shirt. You see these shirts now. I see people I don't even know, like they're walking with the shirt, and it's like, yeah.
It's great, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So thank you for listening, and thanks for being here. And thanks again, Robert.
It's a Good Friday night, and Jesus sneaks into a bar. Nobody sees him hiding inside her guitar. She pulls up a stool, and a neon light sputters on. There's hardly a soul as she starts singing her songs. Whiskey walks in, washing around in a flask. How about a drink? I thought you'd never ask. He pulls up a chair and settles in for the show. He's been waiting all week, and really, both of them know. If I didn't have Jesus, and you didn't have whiskey, there'd be nothing between us to keep us apart. If I didn't have Jesus, you didn't have whiskey, there'd be nothing between us but love, love, love. She sings hallelujah to get to the end of the set. A lot of guys want her, but nobody's gotten there yet. She's saving herself for this life and for the next. Promises made aren't like promises kept. And it never takes long for him to get with a buzz. It keeps him from thinking too much about what was. And none of the others shone with her kind of light. It just doesn't make sense for this thing to feel so right. If I didn't have Jesus, sing now, and you didn't have whiskey, there'd be nothing between us to keep us apart. If I didn't have Jesus, and you didn't have whiskey, there'd be nothing between us but what? Love, love, love. You gotta remember to never take this for granted. Sing along just the way I wrote it. It's crazy. So she's packing it up. She gives him a genuine kiss. He says, thanks for the tunes. I've been waiting all week just for this. You see, Jesus and whiskey, they're tighter than anyone thinks. she's good and she's gone and he's good for one more drink. If I didn't have Jesus, you didn't have whiskey, there'd be nothing between us to keep us apart. If I didn't have Jesus and you didn't have whiskey, there'd be nothing between us but love, love, love. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And this is the awkward part right